Back on Inside Tennessee, it's the prediction show. What's going to happen in 2023? Susan Richardson Williams knows, and so does Don Bosch.
Oh, you're going to start with me this time.
Yeah. All right, we're going to start at the state level and talk about the winner statewide in 2023. Who will that be?
Well, given the discussion coming out of the governor's office and many of the legislators are trumpeting, with $26 billion being discussed for roads and infrastructure, the winner's going to be Tennessee road builders, who often win in this state, but they're about to get a windfall of money and make a bunch of money building roads.
All right, Susan, your winner at the state level in 2023 will be?
I think it's going to be local attorney Dwight Tarwater. There's a vacancy on the Supreme Court. Sharon Lee is retiring, and there are a few names that are floating around there as we speak. Dwight's name is one of them. I've got to believe, with his experience in the government and his reputation as a good attorney, I've got to believe the governor is going to take a real hard look at him. So.
Is the fact that he's an East Tennessean also a factor?
It has to be.
It has to be, because it comes out of this section. Dwight's a dear friend, and I'm glad you said that to keep me from having to tout one of them. But some might argue, given sometimes the mood on that court, he might be a loser having to be up there towards the tail end of his career. But I agree. I think Dwight may be the hands-on favorite right now.
How about the loser statewide, Don?
No question. Women's reproductive rights. And what I mean by that is we are not, in my opinion, going to amend, alter, change the current abortion statute on the books. I don't think the House has the will to do it. I don't think the governor has the will to push it through. And it's a real tragedy. Women are going to die. Children are going to have their needs. Babies are not going to have their needs met. And it's by far and away the big state loser.
Susan?
Well, I agree with that. What I said was the women who may have an ectopic pregnancy, or women who have been raped or have incest, and they don't have enough money to travel to a state that allows legal abortions. I'm hopeful. I think you and I certainly agree on this, that the state would take it up. Representative Zachary said not going to happen in the House. And, Dr. Briggs was on our show, and he thought that it might happen in the Senate. But since then, there's been a whole lot of pushback on that. So I don't think we're going to see that happen.
You both picked an issue as the loser, but we also have that as a category. So what's the another issue you think will dominate the state in 2023, Don?
I think the issue of how are we going to salvage, and we talked about this last week, the Department of Children's Services. We've got to do something. There have to be some immediate solutions necessary, or again, we're going to lose children, but we've got to both have immediate and long-term structure and revision of DCS for it to be viable.
Susan?
Well, I agree with that, but my other issue is transportation and infrastructure, and Don mentioned the $26 billion. I actually ran into Representative John Reagan this week. He said it was actually about $60 billion in needs. I think it's something the governor's going to focus on. Governor Lee and Senator Massey were down in Texas this week looking at their infrastructure, and they have toll lanes. They also have private interstates, which I find really interesting.
I've been on some of them, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we'll do that here, but I do think we may come up with some toll lanes, or at least have some blueprints for what could happen.
John, what's on your list as far as issues you think will dominate 2023?
Well, I agree with them. I think infrastructure will be a big issue. The fact that abortion providers, healthcare providers are not going to be protected legally will be a huge issue. I would just throw this out as well. I think we're going to get more of non-issues that dominate the headlines. Stuff like we're going to have to worry about drag queens again, or whatever. There will be non-issues, truly, that will get a lot of the headlines and that people will be so furious about, which is just kind of wasted hot air, really.
We will hear from the governor in his State of the State address. We've talked about DCS will be a priority, transportation, but also he's talked a lot about prison reform. Do you think he'll push that as much in 2023? Is that something
he certainly can? He's got the capital to do it, but he's going to bump up against some leaders in the legislature who maybe are going to say, we've done a great job already. We don't need to do anything more, and we certainly don't want to let anybody out.
All right, we're going to come back with our national prediction discussion in 2023 when we come back right here on Inside Tennessee.